Hello and welcome to Transfermarkt TV. I'm Manuel, Veth, he's Stefan Bienkowski, and this week's big topic is, of course, the Premier League market value update. We've already done the players, now it is up to the teams. Stefan, walk us through these squad values. What stands out to you?
Yeah, so to no great surprise, Manchester City are still the most valuable squad in the Premier League. They've had a minor upgrade and they're now worth 1.29 billion euros, which is a truly astronomical number. But it's also worth noting that Arsenal, who of course ran them very close in the Premier League last season, are not far behind them on the monetary value sheet either, if you want to use that word. They've got about 14 million euros and they're now worth 1.1 billion. And it's quite interesting because if you kind of look at it, play the clubs out third and fourth, Chelsea, Liverpool, and of course Manchester United as well, all three of those players' big squads dropped off, and we are beginning to kind of see a bit of a gap forming between that top two and the rest of the kind of chasing pack. After that, of course, you got the kind of European hopeful, shall we call them, in Tottenham, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Brighton. These are all teams who are perfectly capable of packing a punch and pushing for Champions League. Aston Villa right now pushing for the Premier League, I would say. So we'll see how far they go. And then, of course, not huge amount of surprises near the bottom of the table either.
Yeah, so the biggest winners then, what are the biggest winners? Obviously, you already mentioned Arsenal, but I think there's some other teams as well, right?
Yeah, so obviously Manchester City had the biggest overall upgrade. They were upgraded by 29 million euros. But interestingly enough, if you actually kind of look below them, it's actually a lot of kind of mid-table to lower level teams who've actually seen a huge upgrade. And that's just simply due to the fact that some smart signings and, of course, players who've performed very well this season. To no great surprise, Brighton continue to go up and up. They sell players, their market value drops off, and then it starts ticking upwards again because they're so good at developing young players. Wolverhampton Wanderers as well, right in there in third place. Just below them are Luton Town, which obviously reflects the fact that they've got a number of impressive players. Similarly, Brentford always have impressive players too. And then, of course, Arsenal are in there in sixth place, who, as we mentioned, are now comfortably the second best team in the league. And then, of course, also behind that are Fulham, Villa, Tottenham, and Nottingham Forest. So, while a lot of these teams maybe aren't, near the top of the overall table, they can also take a lot of pride in the fact that their market values, or the squad market values as a whole, are ticking upwards.
Obviously, that's always a big one, right? Especially for teams like Luton who come up from the Championship. We always find that teams that perform well when they get promoted, they get a little bit of a bump, which is quite natural. What about the other side of things? A certain team in Manchester struggling for years now, and I assume Manchester United are among the biggest losers in this market value update.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Manchester United are comfortably the biggest losers from this update. As our viewers will now be able to see, they've lost 78.05 million euros from their squad value. More than really just about any team. The next three or four sides actually combined, they now drop down to the sixth most valuable squad in the Premier League, which would probably be quite alarming to fans who obviously not that long ago under Solskjaer were somewhat kind of pushy for a top two, maybe even hopes of challenging for the title at some point, which obviously isn't really kind of played out this season. But by no means are Man United the only real culprits here. Chelsea, of course, have had a huge chunk taken off their squad market value because of the number of players that they signed for large fees, and of course haven't really worked out at all. Undoubtedly, technically having a worse season than Man United. Even if their market value hasn't dropped by as much. Everton are in there as well because of their troubles. But perhaps an interesting one are Liverpool, who are actually fourth highest for biggest decrease in squad market value. And that's largely due to the fact that, despite the fact that they're actually doing very well on the pitch this season, this Jurgen Klopp side is definitely in the midst of a kind of transition. We've got a lot of kind of senior players on that squad who are perhaps kind of playing the last kind of couple of years. A number of players who have either approached start say are going beyond that, shall we say. Perhaps Virgil van Dijk's the most obvious one. They also made some big signings. Fans are very happy with how the squad's playing this season. And you can obviously see where this kind of next generation of Liverpool players will be. But at the moment, the kind of aging stars maybe outweigh the new ones as the way things stand. And perhaps that's the biggest increase. But yeah, that's the kind of top 10 in terms of biggest decreases, which unfortunately is probably bad news for Man United fans and does kind of dominate this market value update.
Yeah, I always find it hugely fascinating seeing the ups and downs of different teams. Of course, we have the statistic available on Transfermarkt. If you're curious as well how these market values work, there is a explainer at the bottom of every single market value update that we do. I always get asked, well, how does it work? And I'm like, well, actually, we do explain it every single market value update that we do at the bottom of the text that comes out with the respective market value updates, and there's a link to a site that explains it even better. So go check that out. All the statistics are online now. You can check them out on the various Transfermarkt domains, whether it's us.com, .co.uk, or any other language that you desire. We have that as well. So go check that out. We'll be back soon with more content, Stefan. And until then, cheers and bye-bye.